What is up, guys? It's your boy Torius, back again with another video. I said I'm back again with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the perfect things to say on the first date, right? So smash the like button, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Woo! Alright, so when you're on a first date, right, a lot of times we'll be like, oh no, I'm so nervous. What do I say? Oh no, the words, they don't come out. Right? And it's so funny because I used to get so nervous on dates because I'd be like, oh, what am I gonna say? What are we gonna talk about? Honestly, I feel like nowadays the only things I really get nervous about is like, all right, how am I gonna lead this interaction so the way that to get results that are in favor for me, right? I feel like that's the best way to see it, as in like you want to be able to guide the conversation. You know, that it's less about what you say and more about how can you turn this into what, right? Like if you never be on dates, I recommend you going on a whole bunch of dates, right? Like you don't have to smash every girl, but you can just go on a whole bunch of dates, right? Because the thing is, the more times you go on dates, the more you realize what the date is, and the more you realize, you know, honestly, now that I think about it, you gotta kind of see the date. Alright, so before you ask what do I say on the date, you should ask who am I, right? Like who is the person that I am? Because if you are a strong person, if you are confident, then you understand that the date isn't about what am I gonna ask the girl, like what am I gonna talk about with her. It's gonna be about, oh, how good is she for me, right? You're basically, if you're a dude, you know, the girl is the interviewer, right? She's the interviewee. You are the boss. You're like, okay, so what? So I need this, and this done, right? Like for us, mostly it's sex, right? So you gotta be like, oh, okay, you know, I need some sex done. You don't say that, but you just be like, okay, you know, you make this little innuendos saying, okay, look, this is what I'm about. I'm about having sex. Are you gonna have sex with me, right? And not only are you gonna have sex with me, but you know, like a lot of guys, for us, that's our like main priority, right? So what happens is we gotta understand what we want, right? Like when you know what you want from the girl, like if you just want to fuck the girl, a lot of times it's funny because a lot of times the conversation will reveal itself, right? As in, like, you know, like I remember there was this one day where I was like tattooing these girls, right? And I was tattooing 4 girls, right? Every day, like each day I was tattooing 4 different girls. And what, you know, like when I tattoo people, we have conversations about things, right? It's like we have conversations about stuff. And it's funny because this one girl, right? There's this one girl, I could tell she was really into me. She wanted to have a relationship with me, right? She's more like, oh, I don't want to smash you, I want to have a relationship with you, right? And she was giving me that vibe. And it's funny because our conversation like kind of reflected it, you feel me? It's like our conversation reflected, this is what I want from you, right? And it's so funny because like those 4 days, and it's funny because I was reading this book, right? It was a book about emotional trauma and shit. And basically the book, you know, like when I read books, they reflect my life. So what happened was, basically I'm listening to, you know, like not like you know, I'm listening to our conversation, and she's like, we're very good for each other, right? She's basically like the girl version of me, right? Like in a sense of like things that happen to her. Then next day, I tattooed this other girl, and you know, like the whole conversation was like strictly sexual, strictly sexual. You feel me? It was just like straight flirting. You feel me? And it's like the flirting came a lot easier. I mean, the flirting was pretty easy on the other one, but it's like the flirting was like nonstop, right? And I feel like it's like the girl. For me, it's like mostly the girl, right? Because she's like the gatekeeper of the flirting. You feel me? So it's like if she's not putting up that gate of, okay, no, you can't say these things to me, right? You can't say, oh, you can't say that to me. I'm not gonna allow you to flirt with me, right? That you can't. We're not gonna have like, you know, like girls that are into you, they're gonna shut that shit down, 100%, right? Girls that are into you, they're gonna kind of bring it up. It's easy to bring it up, right? It's kind of, and it got to a point where it's like that's the only thing we was talking. It was like the whole conversation was like centered on, okay, we're gonna fuck, and that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna fuck, pretty much. You feel me? Like that's just what the conversation presented itself, right? So the first girl, she presented it as, okay, you know, like, I would like to have a relationship with you, right? As, you know, like, because we're getting to know each other. The second girl is like, okay, I want to fuck you, right? And that's it. And then the third girl, the next day, right, I tattooed this other girl. And it's funny because it was like mostly one-sided, right? It's like I wasn't talking to her about me, right? Like the first girl was like a more of a balance. That's so funny. That's so weird. I just realized that. But the first girl was like a balance, right? It was like a balance of me talking about myself and her talking about herself, right? And we're like good, you know, like the energy was good. The second one girl was like, okay, we're gonna fuck. The third girl is just like just her, right? It's like her just talking about herself the whole entire time, right? And you know, I wasn't like, she wasn't really too interested in anything that I had to say. But it was like a therapy session, like for real. Like it was like I was her therapist for real, right? And the thing is like, I mean, I could tell she was like, you know, somewhat interested, right? It's not, it wasn't as blatant as like the other girls. It was like a little bit there, you feel me? So it was like a little bit, but it was like, and it's the only reason I'm bringing this up in the first place is because it was showing me like a gradient of like the different shades of, okay, this is how an interaction can go, right? And then the last day, I mean, I wouldn't really, I remember there was another girl, I forgot, see, I don't even remember. But there was this one other girl that I tattooed recently, and you know, she was fine as fuck, and you know, the energy was real balanced. It was like a mix, right? It was a mix of, okay, we're gonna fuck, but also a mix of, you know what, you would be good for a relationship, right? It was like a mix of in between, and it's and also I was being her therapist. It was like a mix, and she was being my therapist too. It's like, it was like a mix of all of those, right? It was crazy. And I was like, oh, okay, how funny. It's like the three things that I learned, it's like it came here, right? It's like, here it is. It's presented to me, right? I haven't been here in so long. But yeah, with that being said, what do you gotta ask on the relationship, on the date? Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Just be like, oh, hey, my name's Nick, and I'm your therapist. I'm just kidding. Like the video, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new. If you have any questions, it's DM on Instagram at Torius at 6 feet interviews. I'll make a video talk about your question. That being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. It's my dog.
On the gang, bro.
What up, dog?
What's up, bro? You good?